Hey guys, what's up? It's Caitlin here, and today I'm here to share with you some of my most watched, most favorite, most recommended television shows that I think you guys might enjoy. I'm not gonna waste any time, so let's get right on into this. So the first show I'm gonna recommend is probably the most well-known show in America, I think, personally. Most of you have probably already seen it, but I'm gonna recommend it anyway, and that is The Office. The Office is my absolute #1 favorite show forever and always. I've watched it like 5 times. It's so funny. I don't think I really need to explain it because I think most people know what The Office is, but in case you don't, The Office is basically a show about a bunch of people who work for a paper company and their crazy things that they get into in the office and outside the office. There's a lot of romances that you'll get really invested in, and the show is so funny. Like, it's one of the very few shows that can make me actually laugh out loud, which doesn't happen very often. It is so funny, but I love how it also gets really real sometimes. Like, it gets super emotional and it makes you think, and it's like, whoa, who knew a comedy could do this to me? I just think it's one of the best shows ever made, so I think you'd like it if you haven't seen it. The Office has 9 seasons, it is over, and I know that it's available on Netflix as well as probably like you can get it online anywhere. The next show that I'm going to recommend that a lot of people commented on my last Netflix recommendation video is Criminal Minds. To anyone who's been watching for a long time, you know I love this show. Criminal Minds is a crime show, also another really popular show. Basically, it's about the profilers that work on the case. The main focus of the show is profiling and figuring out the behavior of the criminal. And the team is so lovable. I mean, Spencer Reed's my favorite, but that's super basic. I know, I'm sorry. Criminal Minds is unique in that it goes into like the behavior of like the criminal, I think, as far as like it's not like CSI or like SVU. I mean, they do some profiling in those shows, but this show is really based on the profiling. If you like psychology and like forensics, like this kind of brings the two together and it's super cool. Criminal Minds currently is going into its 14th season. Wow. It's still going, and it is available on Netflix. The next show that I want to recommend is The Mindy Project. That show is so cute. I love it so much. I love Mindy Kaling. She's also from The Office. She plays Callie in The Office, if you don't know that. But The Mindy Project is a show about people who work in a doctor's office. They actually work at, is it OBGYN? It's a comedy again, and it's just another feel-good, fun show that you can watch. Also gets real sometimes, but you know, most comedies do, but this one is really fun, and Mindy's amazing. If you don't know a lot about Mindy, she's just like a really empowering female figure, and I love her so much. The Mindy Project has 6 seasons. It just recently ended and is available on Hulu. This next recommendation you may or may not have heard of, and it is one of my favorite shows right now, and that is Superstore. Superstore is a show about people who work in basically a Walmart. It's called Superstore, but it's basically like Walmart. It's a comedy about the different things that happen within a Walmart setting. A lot of people who work in retail will watch this show and say, wow, I've been there, I've done that, like this has definitely happened to me. So if you've worked in retail, supposedly this is like super relatable. It's so funny, guys. This cast is really talented. It's a lot of names you wouldn't know. America Ferrera, you would probably know. She's the main star. And then we have Ben Feldman, Colton Dunn, Lauren Ash, Nico Santos, Nicole Bloom, Mark McKinney. They are so freaking funny, and I totally recommend it if you're just looking for a lighthearted comedy. This show is currently going into its 4th season, and it's still going, and it is available on Hulu as well as the NBC like website. So definitely, like, if you like The Office, give this one a shot. I promise you, you will love it. It's so freaking funny. Okay, so this next thing that I'm gonna recommend is so random, and I feel like nobody's gonna go watch it, but I'm gonna recommend it anyway. It's called Polar Bear Spy on the Ice. I love polar bears, and there's this documentary on Netflix about polar bears where they send these like disguised cameras to get really close to the polar bears, and it's narrated by David Tennant, and it's just really cute and really cool and really fun. And if you love polar bears, then you'll love it. If you don't, maybe you just be like, okay, weirdo. I love my polar bears, so just give it a shot. Just like watch 5 minutes of it and I feel like you'll love it. Next show, another really popular show that I think a lot of people know pretty well is Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty is like an Adult Swim cartoon, so if you're not into those animated series, you might not like it. I'm not really into them though. Like, I don't watch a lot of Adult Swim. Like, I don't watch Family Guy or American Dad or Bob's Burgers or anything like that, but I love Rick and Morty. It's really just a show to watch when you just want to be like, this is ridiculous and stupid and crazy at the same time. The storylines are kind of complicated, to be honest with you, because they get into like other dimensions and like all of this crazy stuff, but it's just like about a grandfather and his grandson, and the grandfather is like this crazy scientist dude, and he makes his grandson come with him on all his adventures. I don't know how to explain it other than it's just absolutely ridiculous and really funny, and I think you would probably enjoy it. Rick and Morty currently is 4 seasons, or is going into its 4th season. It is available on Hulu and it is still going, and I'm pretty sure they renewed them for like a bunch of seasons, so you'll probably see them for a long time. The next show I want to recommend is actually a mini-series, so it's only 8 episodes, but it's 11/22/63. You probably recognize that date. This show stars James Franco. Oh, I love James Franco. Basically, his character in this show is given the task to go back in time and stop the assassination of JFK. It's really in-depth, it's shot super well. Like, again, it's only 8 episodes, so a lot of attention was really put into the way that it was made. Really, that's all I can say, is like that's his task, to go back in time and stop the assassination of JFK. And if that doesn't sound interesting to you already, then like, come on. It is, again, 8 episodes, it's on Hulu, but it's really, really, like, you want to binge that. So this next show, it got canceled, so maybe that says something about it, but I personally loved it. But that show was Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland. If you know what a designated survivor is, it's basically somebody who, when they have that giant like Congress meeting, they have someone like stay behind in case something happens so that they can become president. Basically, that's what happens in this show at the very beginning. And then this guy is now president of the United States. He's not really prepared for it, and it's not a comedy. It sounds like a comedy when you explain it like that. The show is really complex and like cool, and like they have these like secret agents, and it's really good. It stinks that it was canceled after 2 seasons because, I mean, it's really, really good. But I still recommend you give it a try. Just maybe watch like the pilot, because the pilot's really good, and just see if you like it. But it did get canceled after 2 seasons, so that's kind of sad. That show is available on the ABC app, on Hulu, and someone said it was on Netflix. I haven't seen it on there, but maybe it is. My next recommendation actually comes from you guys directly. On my last video that I made about TV show recommendations, everyone in the comments was like, oh my god, watch The 100. So I did. I'm only on the 2nd season right now, but it's very addictive. So basically what The 100 is, the Earth has been completely destroyed by radiation, and so these people moved to outer space. That's what they did. Essentially, the concept for the show is, can they get down to Earth and survive on Earth, because things are starting to not work out up in space anymore, so they have to see if that they can make it down to Earth. So they send people down to Earth to live down there, and what they discover down there is kind of like mind-blowing. I don't want to say too much because I've watched 2 seasons and now it's like hard to pick apart what you don't find out until later. It kind of gives me the vibes of Lost. If you've watched Lost, it reminds me a lot of that show. The chemistry of the characters and a lot of the concepts that they go through. The 100, I believe, is going into its 6th season, so it's still going, and it is available on Netflix. The last show I'm gonna recommend is another really popular show that a lot of you are probably gonna be like, oh my god, you just ruined everything because you are a piece of trash. I would be used to that. That show would be Pretty Little Liars. It's definitely a really cheesy, ridiculous show. It's one of those shows that's like, you know it's bad, but you're addicted to it. At the beginning, it was really, really good. As it got later and later, it was like getting worse and worse and worse. But you're just like, I've watched this far, I gotta get through it. I feel like I'm not selling it at all right now, but I do think it's worth watching if you like those kind of super over-the-top dramatic shows. Pretty Little Liars would be one of them. I think it's also good because when I was watching it live, waiting week to week or like waiting over the summer for a new season was a pain in the butt, but you can just binge it because it's over. It's done. It was 7 seasons. It's available on Netflix. If you don't know what it's about, basically is these 4, well, there's 5, it's so complicated. There's these 5 girls in the first episode, and then one of them goes missing. The other 4 girls start receiving messages from A about the whereabouts of this girl and all these other crazy things, and then it just gets more and more complex from there. But I definitely think it's worth the watch to see if you'd like it, because it's addictive. That's really all I can say, is it's just really addictive. So that's all the TV shows that I'm gonna recommend for you guys right now. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and comment down below any recommendations you might have for me, or any shows that I mentioned that you've watched and enjoyed. Whatever you feel like sharing, I love reading your comments. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!